Hello, my name is Chariot, and today we are going to take a little look at someone else's conversions, because these are, well, they're crazy over the top, really, really well done, hugely complicated, and I have no idea where you would even start attempting to replicate them. Don't want to replicate them necessarily, but they have sparked something that has been somewhat lacking for me over the last couple of weeks. Now, I know I put a video up about my Necrons that I've been working on from the Indomitus box. Those, I've enjoyed making them, for sure, but ideas are not free-flowing at the moment. Quite often when I look at something, I immediately go, okay, well, that I want to do this, that, and the other with it. That would look cool with this part, or it would be great if I could take that gun off and put something else on, or it just, gets a bit over the top and silly, like a Vulcan Mega Boltron Knight, which is finished painting and up there, and maybe sticking 2 Defiler claws on a Knight, or giving an onslaught, like giving a Avenger Gatling cannon to a Dreadnought. Stuff like that generally has been pretty quick and easy. It's just see something, go, that'd be fun, and just do it. That's not been happening. Not very much recently. The Necron stuff, I've really struggled to find stuff I'm happy with, and there's been a lot of times where I've started something and just found that there's no motivation there. There's no kind of drive, there's no like creativity of any kind. It's just, I want to do something, but I don't really have any idea what or how to go about it, which is a bit of a pain. Like kit bashing, converting, that is one of the things I enjoy the most about the hobby, and when that becomes difficult and when I start to lose motivation for that, it's generally a sign that things are going slightly bad overall. Who knows? It could just be the fact that we've been, unable to see people properly for the last... What are we on? August? When did lockdown start in the UK? I don't know. Too long. Far too long. It could just be that. It could be any number of things. But it has been somewhat fixed. There has been a bit of a spark brought back by these absolutely insane in scope and ambition Orruk conversions. So something that you hopefully are already familiar with is occasionally on the community site they will cover people's armies. Now this is brilliant for me because I tend to see a lot of the 40k stuff that's going around, not so much the Age of Sigmar stuff, but it's still a really good source of information and inspiration, and it's stuff that you can, it's a bit out of left field, stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see for 40k that can open you up to other ideas, and that's what this has done. It's not cured the lack of motivation that I'm currently having issues with, but it's definitely helped because these are crazy, crazy good. So Johhny Fraser-Allen has got an Auric army that is composed of insanely big conversions. So a gargant with an Auric chariot on the back. I mean, that is massive for a start. It's also super cool. I really like the way that has been done. It's very over the top, I think it's fair to say. I would argue, kind of on the more cartoonish end, but the actual execution of it is super well done. It's top heavy. It's the kind of lean on the chariot itself looks intentional. It looks, I dare say that looks somehow, despite what it is, really quite close to an actual kit that could be produced. They've been blended really well, and there's some good use of things like a cloth and chain and stuff to make the join at the front look natural, and just the amount of work that's been done to bring these two kits together it's so much, and it's so well done. So this guy worked at Weta Workshop and worked on the 3 Trolls and the Hobbit, and part of the stuff that he did for that has kind of informed his method for making stuff like this. So all of this stuff is Games Workshop kits. There's no extra pieces, there's nothing from other manufacturers. This is all stuff that he could get from Games Workshop itself. And I mean, you can see immediately, I would hope, just the scale of this thing, the kind of the ambition side of it it's just such a massive project. But this is just one of them. This is just one of these guys. So there's this one with the prisoners in the back of this cart. There's a bunch of like barrels and treasure chests. You've got all the little goblins. I mean, there's just so much detail and so much done to make this look like legit. And it's not the only one. It's not even close to the only one. There's more. There's actually more. I mean, I love how kind of like not steampunky, but like the kind of mechanical elements on this. The fact you've got like the chains and the pulleys on either side. You've got this kind of bronze, brassy kind of pipework on the top. It's just so much. It's so much, but it's so well executed. I mean, look at the dedication just in this model. But this is the second one. And this is what gets me. This is like, it's not just like what I do with Dreadnoughts quite often, which is just take a couple of weapons off, stick other stuff on. That looks cool. Let's go with that. That's fun. I mean, it's not even like taking a Vulcan Mega Bolter and sticking it on a knight. This is like a complete alteration, like a massive addition to an existing model using parts from so many others, but doing it in such a way that they mesh really, really well. I mean, looking at it, you've got bits from Skaven stuff on the side there, like you can, like the big kind of wagon wheel on the back. It looks like there's parts from, I mean, that sort of boiler thing on the back almost looks like something you might find off the Lord of Skulls or something. There's bits I know full well from is it the Bloodrack Shrine, the Cauldron of Blood, whatever it's called, from the Daughters of Cain. I recognise those bits because I've been using them on my Baneblade to turn it into a moving soundstage. I recognise parts of this, but it's been meshed in such a cohesive way. It's like it's just properly brilliant. It also helps that I do like the paint job a lot as well. The paint job's cool. So there's like magic energy being sucked out of wizards and stuff. Oh man, it's just so well done. It's so well done. That view especially, I think, is like the bit where I was scrolling through and I just had that moment of, oh my god, that like the scale of it, the amount of time and effort and planning as well. This does not look like something that has been cobbled together. This is not something that has been like thrown together and just, we'll see if that sticks. This looks like time has been placed into going through every single bit and going, well, okay, if I can get that bit there, then we can attach that. And it feels like something that has been built from the ground up to have a certain, at the very least, a certain attitude or a certain function. It's not just like random bits thrown on like willy-nilly, which is largely what I do. It's just so well done. So well done. And then you get down to this absolute, like, I can't even wrap my head around this. So, this is the king of the Orruks, because you're creating an alliance of order faction of wizards, wanting to incorporate the same narrative rules created for the army into these Orruks. So the main concept is that magic is incredibly hard to generate, requiring decades of practice and research, not something greenskins will be interested in. Having discovered that magic can be drained out directly from its human source, the chieftain's driving impulse is to capture wizards and drain their power for immediate destructive use. Like, it's just crazy. The sheer amount of detail and kind of slow build-up that this must have taken just blows me away. It properly blows me away. In that one picture alone, there is so much in the way of different kits, in build-up. Like, the amount of time just for that pile of, like, treasure and stuff that's been hoarded, like stolen belongings, and like that little section of that model. I say little, it's not little, it's massive, but that section of the model is so jam-packed with with detail. And it looks, when I say it looks like random detail, it looks like it has been just slowly amassed. It somehow manages to look random, even though it's obviously been planted in a certain way that makes sense and has a certain visual look to it. But it doesn't look planned. It looks natural. I mean, just look at the scope of it. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, well, oh my god. I mean, for a start, there's a good number of Skaven kits in there. Obviously, there's the big old bell they've got that seems to be being used as like a trumpet over the top, with a drum on the back of it. You can see what looks like bits of the fencing scenery that you can get. There's some like night haunt slash undead stuff up there as well. Spirit hosts. There's just so much. There's just so much that has gone into this, and it's gone in such a just awesomely well constructed way. I mean, visually, we've got to be honest. Visually, it is insanely busy. It is an incredibly busy model. Like there's no getting around it. There is a huge amount going on here, and it's a lot to take in at once. But it works because of it, I think. It doesn't look like something that has been designed to be clean and easy to comprehend. It looks like a shambling like mass of stuff that has just been accumulated over years. It looks like a travelling caravan that has been slowly picking things up, stealing things, hoarding stuff for so long that it's just grown up and out. I mean, actually seeing the chieftain on the top there as well, the actual size of him compared to the rest of it, I love that it's that big. It feels fitting for the rest of the model. There's just, to me, there's so much planning and ambition that's gone into this, and I mean, if it's like solid and not liable to fall apart and stuff, then I can only issue the most heartfelt congratulations, because I would not want to transport that thing anywhere. That would be a thing where it would be like, okay, and you're never leaving this shelf. Just no. Why would I even try and take this somewhere else? See, now I'm just sitting here like playing Guess the Kit. It's difficult because there's so many. It's just such a well executed force. Every single conversion, like every single model, is a massive character centerpiece in its own right, and it doesn't look random or just thrown together. It properly has a like unique visual style that must have taken so long to do. Like, it's so long. It's just so well done. It's so well done. I basically just wanted to share that with you in case you hadn't seen it. I know a lot of you probably will have already, seen these models on the community site, but as I say, for me, I'm just not in that kind of headspace where I can properly look at something and go, I know what I want to do with that. I know how I'm going to do something with it. I know what bits I'm going to use. That has been like quite lacking for a couple of weeks now. And I'm pushing through it, but it's not as easy, and it's not quite as enjoyable in a way when it's like that, because it feels like it has to be forced. And sometimes I think when you force stuff like that, you end up making mistakes. You end up doing things that you otherwise wouldn't do, because you take that step back and you go, well, looking at it like reasonably, I don't think that works. But instead there's like a drive to go, well, it's fine, you can always hide it later or change it up later or do something else with it in the future, which is not really the way to go. Seeing this stuff though, I mean, it's just so well done, and the scope of it and the kind of imagination required and the commitment to like single projects required to actually make them anywhere near as good as they are is kind of given me a little bit of that kind of a little bit of that drive back. It's kind of made me want to try and pick something and just focus on it until it's done, instead of hopping, instead of trying to chase something. Actually sit down and work out properly what's required, what is actually wanted, and not what just feels like should be done because you should be doing something. Just super amazing conversions and models. I cannot stress enough how much I think these are just possibly some of the best conversions I've seen for a long, long time. They are super solid. Anyway, let me know what you think of those in the comments down below. I absolutely love them. I'm assuming most of you, at the very least, will look at them and go, oh my god, how do you even start doing something of that scale? Yeah, so good. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon video, subscribe, all that stuff. We're actually closing in on 66,000 subs now, which is mad. I don't know how that's happened. But yeah, if you'd like to subscribe, that would be lovely. It's entirely up to you, of course. I did a bit more Necron stuff the other day. I'm not as happy with it as the first lot, but I might do something over the weekend so you can take a look at them once I've messed with them a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.